Hello dear, welcome to this class of DC electricity. Today we are going to discuss on this particular equation, which is you see I equals to NAQV. This equation also is known as transport equation of the charge carriers. So before we go in details of this equation, first let us understand what each of the terms represent right here. Uh, I stands for current, the current that flows through the conductor, and it is measured in ampere. So the unit is within the bracket. N here is number of free electrons per unit volume. So do remember I underlined this thing that per unit volume. If you do not write number of free electrons per unit volume, only number of free electrons, you will not get the mark. So you have to write number of free electrons per unit volume, or else you can write charge carrier density. And for most of the cases, these charge carriers are electrons for most of the metals, in fact. So the unit for number of free electrons per unit volume is per meter cube. Number of free electrons has no unit, but it is per unit volume, so that per unit volume, per minus sign volume meter cube. So it is per meter cube per meter to the power minus 3. The A stands for area of the cross section or cross sectional area of the conductor, and its unit is meter square since it is area meter square. Q is charge of electron, which is always constant, 1.6 times 10 to the power negative 19 coulomb. And you will see sometimes the question states E here in place of Q. Sometimes it is used to be stated E, just E, small e. So small e or small q or capital Q doesn't matter. It represents the charge of electron, which has a constant value of this much. V is the drift velocity. Drift velocity, its unit is meter per second. So you remember the word drift here. Why is it called drift velocity? So we need to know little background of this conductor. When this is a conductor, it is just a wire, say copper wire, and it is not connected with any power supply. Once it is not connected with any power supply, it means no PD, no potential difference is applied to this wire. No electric field is the wire under. So the electrons, the free electrons, are randomly moving in all direction. If I consider this to be as the free electrons, these free electrons in the wire, they are moving constantly, randomly in all directions. Suppose this one is moving along this direction, this one is in this direction. So a zigzag random pattern of these free electrons. It is just like a air particle that have some random motion. So not any particular direction of motion that all the electrons follow. They are random in their motion and they are following that path when they travel. It is also called as electron gas. So when the wire, the metal wire, is not connected with any power supply, means no PD is applied, the free electrons are just like the gas particles. They are random in motion. Now, when I applied a power supply, when I applied a potential difference, then these electrons are not maintaining their random motion. So, when I applied the electric field, means a potential difference. Suppose this is positive, this is negative. If I apply the potential difference across the two ends of the wire, the electrons are no more this random motion, no more in this random motion. So what will their motion be like? The electrons will be drifted, will be majority of the electrons, although it is not all of the electrons, but majority of the electrons, they are moving in a particular direction, which is from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. They are now drifted, they are now compelled to move along a particular direction. Although not all the electrons, some electrons are still having little different direction, but majority, the resultant motion of the electrons are towards the positive end from the negative end. So initially they had a random motion, they were free to move in any direction, and right now majority of the electrons, the resultant direction of the electron is in a particular direction from negative to positive. Right here this electron is compelled, and this is what we call drifted. So they are drifted. At what velocity they are moving? We call that velocity to be the drift velocity. Owing to the fact, obviously, the wire is under some PD. A potential difference is applied. It is not just a simple wire like this. The wire is connected with the positive and negative terminal of a battery. So if it is connected with the terminals of the battery, now the free electrons inside the wire is moving from one terminal to the another terminal. They are drifted. So this equation I equals to NAQV is the transport equation we called. So if we just would like to see how this equation has been derived, so you just consider it is a power supply. This power supply is connected with this wire. I mean, all the way it is connected with the wire, but this particular wire we are observing. So this is what we call as sample wire. Sample wire. This is what we are observing. This also is a wire, connecting wires, connecting wires. It is a sample wire that we are observing. So the electrons are moving from negative terminal to the positive terminal. Electron is always in the opposite direction of the conventional current direction. The conventional current direction is from positive to negative, but electron's motion is opposite to the conventional current direction, from negative to positive. So how this electron is moving? It is moving through this wire, and the sample wire we are now talking about, this wire has a cross-sectional area of A, length L, and the electrons per unit volume, the free electrons per unit volume inside this wire is suppose n, small n. And you see that these are the free electrons. There are ions as well. These are ions. The bigger one, they are ions. So the atom lose their electrons and become ions. So these are the ions, and the small specks are electrons. They are moving from negative end to the positive end. So we are now concentrating on this sample wire, which is of length L and cross-sectional area A. As we let the charge carrier density, means number of free electrons per unit volume. Charge carrier density we let as N of this sample wire. The length we let as L. The cross-sectional area A, and the electronic charge is E or Q, whatever you say. This is the electronic charge, charge of electron. Okay, I wrote Q. So if the length is L, area is A, then what is the volume of the conductor? Isn't it length times area? So the volume of conductor, volume of this sample wire is area times the length. So in 1 unit volume, there are n many charge carriers. Charge carrier density is nothing but number of free electrons per unit volume. So in 1 unit volume, there are n many charge carriers, n many electrons. So what is the total number of the charge carriers for this entire volume of wire? So total number of free electrons in this conductor, isn't it n multiplied with the volume of the wire? N is number of free electrons in 1 unit volume. So 1 unit volume, there are n many electrons. With this n, I multiplied the entire volume of the wire. So I get total number of free electrons. One electron carries a charge of Q. So what is the total charge carried or transferred? So total charge carried or transferred, total charge carried, total charge, not the charge carriers. Charge carriers are these many charge carriers. Who are carrying these charges? Electrons. And what is the total amount of charge carried or transferred? So I multiply these charge carriers with the charge of one electron. Okay. So if time for carrying this total charge is T, then what is the current equation? Current I equals to total charge divided by time. And what is total charge? It is NaLQ. What is the time it takes to carry this much charge? Divided by time. And L by time, the distance it traveled per unit time, isn't it speed? So NaQV, this is the equation that we get. Ultimately, the transport equation. So the V is drift velocity or drift speed, whatever you say. You understand that most of the electrons, they move from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. But before the PD is applied, all the electrons, they had random motion. They were free to move in any particular direction. Now they are compelled to move in a particular direction, majority of them. So this is how the equation I equals to NaQV is derived. And side by side, if I just try to obtain the homogeneity of this equation, if I try to prove the homogeneity of this equation, so just check it out, this equation is homogeneous or not. As we theoretically know that all uh, correct equations, experimentally found equations, are homogeneous. Let's check it out. What is the unit of the left hand side? So we do check the homogeneity of the equation in terms of the base unit, right? So what is the base unit of current? It is ampere. Fine. What is the unit of N, the charge carrier density? As I mentioned earlier, it is per meter cube. So many of the students used to consider this to be just a number, and they quite often uh, forget that it has some unit. It has unit, it is per meter cube. Area of the cross section, so area of the cross section is meter square. Then charge, the charge is coulomb, and finally the velocity, which is meter per second. So check it out, meter square times meter, meter cube per meter gets cancelled out. Coulomb per second is ampere, isn't it? Coulomb per second charged by time is current, so it is ampere. So left hand side and right hand side, they became same, equal, and the equation is homogeneous with respect to the units. Um, Something just would like to mention right here. I mean, how this equation can be applied in the circuit, how we are making use of this equation. So if we consider the application of this equation, I would like to just mention two applications of this equation. One is when the wires of the same type, two wires of the same type connected in series, one is thin and other is thick. And you see, ultimately we got the equation to be I equals to NAQV. So the equation is independent of the length of the conductor. This equation we have seen independent to the length of the conductor. So it doesn't matter the conductor is longer or shorter. This equation is not dependent to the length. It depends on the cross-sectional area. If we consider that A is a wire, B is another wire, the two are connected in series and they two are of the same material, then through which wire electron will be moving faster, or what would be the drift velocity of the electron through wire A with respect to wire B, if we want to find it out. A and B are of same material. If they are of same material, this information should be given to you, which is why you can say that N is same. When it is made up of same material, it will have the same number of N, means same number of free electrons per unit volume. Alright, same number of free electrons per unit volume. They are connected in series. As they are connected in series, same current is flowing through each of them. So I is same as series connection. So look at this equation now. I equals to N A Q V. If we divide I by N and Q, we get A times V. Why did we divide it by N and Q? Because N, Q and I, these are the constant factors right here. Q is always constant. It is just representing the charge of one electron. It is always constant. I is constant right here as they are connected in series. Whatever current flows through A, the same current flows through B. N is same because it is stated that A and B are made up of same material. So we have some constant value in the left hand side. If this is constant and constant is equal to A times V, what does it imply? Doesn't it imply that drift velocity is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area? Drift velocity is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. That's why the product of V and A is constant. So through the wire which has a greater cross-sectional area, electron will be moving slowly. So wire B here is thicker compared to wire A. So cross-sectional area of wire B is greater than that of wire A. So in this case, electron moves faster through wire A. So if it moves faster through wire A, so quite obvious, it will move slower through wire B so that the same current can flow through each of them. All right. You might be required to find out the ratio of this drift velocity VA by VV is how much, given that diameter of wire B is twice the diameter of A. If this information is given to you, how to find out the ratio of the drift velocity to A through A to the ratio of the drift velocity through B. So VA divided by VB, how to find it out? Given this information that wire B has twice the diameter than wire A. So all you do is you have found out that AV is constant. So AV for wire A can be said as same AV for wire B because the product is constant. So greater cross-sectional area, slower velocity, slower movement, and vice versa. So their product is same. So the product of A is same as the product of B. So I can say VA divided by VV, this is what I subjected. This is right here AB by AA. AB is the cross-sectional area of B. So what is the cross-sectional area in terms of the diameter? It is, in terms of radius, it is pi r square, and in terms of diameter, it is pi d square by 4, because r equals to d over 2, d by 2. So here we have pi db square by 4, and in the denominator pi dA square by 4. So this pi by 4 cancelled out, and the equation, I mean right hand side, is dB by dA whole square, and it is given that dB is twice of dA. So isn't it 4? Check it out. So the ratio of this is 4. That means electron moves 4 times the drift velocity compared to wire B. The velocity with which electron moves through wire B through wire A, it is 4 times. So VA equals to 4 times of VV. So electron is faster, and how many times it is faster? It is 4 times compared to the drift velocity of electron through wire B. All right. So this is the kind of the the application of this particular equation that you should look into. You will be given the two different wires or two same type of wires. They are connected in series. One, only when they connect in series we can compare the drift velocity. If they are connected in parallel, then current will not be same, so we won't be able to compare the drift velocity in terms of their dimension or in terms of their difference in the value of n. So the equation here, I equals to NAQV, we are implementing this, we are comparing the drift velocity with the cross-sectional area or with the number of free electrons per unit volume. Suppose if I would like to just give you one more example, that if these two wires A and B are not made up of same material, instead A is a conductor while B is a semiconductor. A conductor and a semiconductor, they are connected in series. Once they are connected in series, they must have the same current through each of them. But do they have the same value of N? No. N of conductor is much greater than N of semiconductor. All right. So if the two wires are different type, one is conductor and other is semiconductor, where we know the fact conductor has greater charge carrier density compared to semiconductor. Now, through which wire electron will be moving faster if both of them are identical in dimension, means they have the same cross-sectional area, then through which wire electron will be moving faster. So look at the equation again and you see that d velocity is inversely proportional to the charge carrier density. So the one that has a lower charge carrier density, electron will be moving faster through them, through it, to make the same current flow. So since the conductor and semiconductor is supposed connected in series, so electron must be moving faster through semiconductor so that conductor and semiconductor, they conduct the same amount of current. All right. So this is the transport equation, I equals to NAQV, all aspects of this equation, uh, finding the homogeneity of this equation, and then comparing the drift velocity both qualitatively. Qualitatively means if one is thicker and other is thinner, through which wire electron will be moving faster. You just have to conclude it, explain it with respect to the equation, and then quantitatively how to find out the ratio of the drift velocity if some certain dimension is given, that wire B is this much of wire A or vice versa. And the thing is, if the two wires are not made up of the same material but they are of the same cross-sectional area, then through which wire electron will be moving faster. So you'll always find the wire that has lower charge carrier density, electron will be moving faster through it. All right. So thanks for watching this video. If you understand this, you will give a like uh, and comment here. And if you have any question, ask me please. Thank you for watching this video.